Tonight, as the Lakeview community continues to recover from the deadly tornado, it is now turning its attention to the economic impact it may have. As Jenna Lee Bork found out, they're still expecting people for next month's solar eclipse and praying for tourists to return in the summer as well.
This community was able to mobilize recovery efforts within hours of the deadly tornadoes, but now they also have to think about what they're going to need to rebuild for the future.
It's crazy. These people have nothing. And until you come down here and you see it yourself, it's mind-blowing.
Just days after a tornado hit the Indian Lakes area, volunteers and donations have poured in.
We've had so many volunteers. I don't think that saying several hundred at this point is an exaggeration. It's been very heartwarming. We have a lot of people.
On Saturday, a drive-through was set up where people could go get things like blankets, canned food, diapers, boxes, and other necessities. It's now been moved to a more permanent space at 2 different churches. Brenda Moots, a business owner downtown Lakeview, helped organize it from the beginning. She says having this set up so quickly was a priority because of the need.
They don't want to leave their home, or we don't have a car. So we can't leave our little village to go somewhere else for these resources.
The immediate aftermath is the main concern for now, but how things will look in the future is another question. This was supposed to be a busy destination for the solar eclipse viewing in April. Logan County Sheriff Randall Dodds says it's hard to say if people will show up or not.
I do anticipate a lot of people coming to the area, and I anticipate probably a lot of people are going to be coming to the area also to see the damage. So I think the potential to have an abundant amount of people is there. But I suppose also it exists that they may not come.
Dodds says the economy will be impacted for some time because of this disaster, but he's hoping tourism continues throughout the summer because there's still a lot of businesses standing and the lake is still accessible.
It is going to have some effect, there's no doubt, because of the damage and the economic of the businesses aren't there. Some of these businesses, there's just no way they're going to be able to be up and running anytime for summer.
Sheriff Dodds says that some businesses may not decide to rebuild, but Indian Lakes is going to look very different in the coming months and years ahead because so many new businesses and residential areas will end up coming in because of how much of the area is going to have to be completely leveled. Back to you.
Tonight, we're also learning the names of the 3 people who died in that tornado last week. The Logan County Sheriff's Office says these 3 people were killed in the storm: Darla Williams, Neil Longfellow, and Marilyn Snap. They died Thursday night when that EF3 touched down in Logan County, causing significant damage to the Lakeview area. Also, as those cleanup and recovery efforts continue, many are now coming together to help those impacted through monetary donations and charities. However, experts warn you need to be aware of scammers. Kasha Hancock spoke to that expert about what you need to know to protect yourself.
At least I spoke to a cybersecurity expert who broke down what you need to look for before making any donations to GoFundMe pages or charities to help tornado survivors. After Thursday night's devastating tornado that hit Logan County, many residents were left with nothing. Community groups and churches are now helping to pick up the pieces and help families restore hope by rebuilding their homes, creating GoFundMe pages, and starting charities. But even as people make the choice to donate, they are warned to watch out for scammers using this devastating situation just to get their money. Senior fellow at the University of Dayton Center of Cybersecurity and Data Intelligence, Dave Salisbury, says there are obvious things people should look for before donating.
Try to get it all under control before you even put a donation down. Sit back and look at the situation, look at the organization you're dealing with, look at the specificity of the claim, look at the believability of the claim.
Another thing to consider, Salisbury tells me, is that GoFundMe always wants to make sure that a beneficiary's name is listed on the page. So before making any donations, make sure you check that. Back to you.
The Montgomery County Regional Dispatch is going to be taking part in a statewide tornado drill this week. On Wednesday, sirens will sound at 9:50 in the morning in areas of Clayton, German Township, Germantown Township, Harrison Township, Jefferson Township, Miamisburg, Phillipsburg, Trotwood, and Washington Township. It's expected to last about 3 minutes. And 3 local school districts in a nearby college were shut down today due to an active threat reported by Springfield police. Lydia Bice has the details.
I heard from the city of Springfield around 5 o'clock this evening, who told us that this all kind of started with a shooting at 803 South Center Street yesterday. Now, when police arrived on scene, they found 38-year-old Tiffany Higgins had been shot and killed, but while they investigated her death, they also learned that the suspect was planning to shoot unknown individuals at a local school. That's why Springfield City Schools, Springfield Clark Career Technical Center, Yellow Springs Schools, and Clark State were closed today. Now, the Springfield City School District sent us a statement saying, quote, late on March 17th, the Springfield City School District was informed of an active police investigation involving threats that directly impacted our schools, making the immediate closure of all district facilities necessary for Monday, March 18th. This decision was made to ensure the safety of our students and staff. The Springfield Police Division did notify the Springfield City School District of the apprehension of the suspect in the case, and as a result, the district will return to normal operations tomorrow. Now, I got off the phone with the Springfield post of the Ohio State Highway Patrol around 5:30 this evening, who confirmed that the suspect in this case was a 16-year-old male who was arrested in the 500 block of Linden Avenue in Springfield around 1 a.m. So we're still working to learn exactly how the victim and the suspect in this case are related, if at all. But again, that suspect was apprehended around 1 o'clock this morning. Back to you.
Right now, this 22-year-old man is behind bars in connection to a deadly shooting in Yellow Springs. It happened last Thursday night, and after investigating, Yellow Springs police narrowed down their search to Jackson Blything. They arrested him on Sunday after a 911 call from a neighbor saying he was ringing doorbells in the village. He's currently being held at the Greene County Jail on charges of attempted felonious assault, tampering with evidence, and possessing criminal tools. Well, the weather, another big story tonight, actually, kind of changing things up for us. Saturday was beautiful, and now we've got this.
Yeah, last day of winter, and it wanted to, show us
Make
some
sure.
winter. Yeah, it's like, I'm still here, guys. It was, mild all winter long, and then it decides to snow today. Now, of course, no really accumulations across the area. Still a few flurries around there, too, but this is heading off to the east, and we'll continue to see skies clear overnight as the system heads off to the east, and a southerly wind will return, which is also going to warm things up across the area. So 30s across the area right now, 32 in Dayton, 31 in Troy, 32 in Wapakoneta. For tonight, we're going to be dropping into the mid-20s, so it is going to be very cold. Again, those clearing skies, west-southwesterly wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. However, we will see breezy conditions for tomorrow. The winds are really going to kick up for us. So I'll talk about the windy day for tomorrow and what the rest of the week is looking like coming up.
Candidate for U.S. Senate Bernie Moreno meeting with supporters at the Amber Rose restaurant today. He was joined by State Rep Phil Plummer and Arizona Senate candidate Carrie Lake. They all spoke about immigration issues along the U.S.-Mexico border and Ukraine aid.
Do you think that we should spend U.S. taxpayer money on Americans or on people in Ukraine?
Moreno campaigned with former President Donald Trump at the Dayton airport on Saturday. He's running against State Senator Matt Dolan and Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose. Whoever wins tomorrow's primary will go up against Senator Sherrod Brown. Meanwhile, Senator Brown isn't facing any competition in the Democratic primary. Today, he picked up the endorsement of the Ohio Building Trades while at a stop in Dayton. Senator Brown says unions are becoming more popular as workers across different industries look to unionize.
This is the most pro-union generation in my lifetime. Young people now, hell, I've helped on organizing drives with a bunch of people with purple hair at Starbucks. You're seeing people, they're not going to make what iron workers make, but they're going to have better wages, better benefits, better opportunity to set their schedules. So it's not only up to the employer when you're working and when you're being productive.
Ohio Building Trades represents about 100,000 people in construction and building trades industry. Tomorrow, of course, is that primary election we keep talking about. Polls open at 6:30 in the morning, so about 7.5 hours from now, and then close at 7:30 tomorrow night. If you don't know where your polling location is, it's okay. You can still find it. You have time. Just head to voteohio.org and then click on Find My Polling Location. Governor Mike DeWine joining firefighters tonight from across the state to unveil a new program which is expected to, quote, annihilate so-called forever chemicals. The program will safely dispose of hazardous PFAS. Those are substances in firefighting foam currently in storage in fire stations across the state. According to the Department of Health, exposure to PFAS has been found to affect the immune system, increase the risk of certain cancers, impact fertility, and affect the growth and behavior of infants and children.
Here today at Calamityville in Greene County, we're officially launching the nation's first AFFF take-back program that will destroy firefighting foam and all the PFAS in it without any harmful byproducts or residual contamination.
Ohio EPA Director Ann Vogel added they are proud the program chose the Fairborn site because of its prior history being a former contaminated site itself. Voters will soon be heading to the polls, and that could impact students across the Miami Valley, while schools are now urging voters to pass new levies.
Plus, winter was ended today. Spring starts tomorrow. I'll let you know if it will feel like spring. That's coming up. Here's a live look from our Eco Plumber Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
less than 12 hours from now, voters across the Miami Valley will be heading to the polls for the March primary. Several school districts in our area actually have levies on the ballot. Dayton 24/7 Now's Lydia Bice caught up with two of those districts and breaks down the levies ahead of Election Day.
Tip City Schools and the Centerville City School District are asking voters to approve levies that would help with school buildings and day-to-day operations. In Tip City, there is an $87 million bond levy on the ballot.
That is for a pre-K-8 building and then the necessary demolition and abatement of Nevin Coppock Middle School and paying off the middle school cop lease as well. Those are the big pieces.
And in Centerville, a $3.9 million operating levy that would generate about $11.2 million for the district.
Funds will be used for operating expenses to maintain our current educational programming and services, and also to maintain and upgrade some of our additional services that we need, like mental health and safety services.
We asked these superintendents what they say to residents who believe they're asking for too much.
There's no question about that. This is a lot of money. The issue to me is not doing anything now or not taking a long-term approach only delays the inevitable, and it's just only going to cost more and more money down the road.
If the Centerville levy doesn't pass, there could be changes when it comes to staffing.
We would have to implement the second part of our reduction plan. That's our phase 2, and that would be some additional cuts to positions.
Superintendent Moran says that his district's levy is really about health and safety of students.
I'd say it's just overall, it provides us a 21st century learning environment that we don't have now. And again, health, safety, and well-being of the kids and staff is a priority.
And when asked if there was anything else he'd like to add, Superintendent Westney just wanted to remind Centerville residents about the resources on their website that provide lots of details on the levy.
We have a lot of factual information. A lot of information has been put there to help answer a lot of questions that we receive throughout the community, and get out and vote.
That was Lydia Bice reporting. Tomorrow, of course, you'll be able to find the results of those two school levies, among other things. All those election results on the election results tab at Dayton247now.com.
Well, next weather maker, believe it or not, is going to be another cold front after the cold day that we had today. Tomorrow does warm up a bit, but then by tomorrow night, another cold front will make its way in. That will bring windy conditions out ahead of it for tomorrow. It does warm up into the 50s, though. And then the end of the week is just overall looking chilly. So we got a few flurries still lingering. This activity, though, heading off to our east, and we will start to see a more southerly wind return for tomorrow, which will help those temperatures climb. So 20s tomorrow morning, waking up again to a cold start, but we do get into the upper 40s. I'm thinking lower 50s tomorrow afternoon, but with a breeze, it's going to feel colder. Wednesday, we start out in the 30s, but Wednesday afternoon, staying in the 40s yet again, and then Thursday, it's looking even colder, starting in the 20s. I do have highs in the 40s, but may have to drop highs just a little bit. Models indicating 30s right here. So cold weather in the forecast again. I'll have a look at our 7-day coming up.
A woman who left her 16-month-old daughter home alone to go on vacation will now spend the rest of her life in prison. Christelle Candelario was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole in Cleveland today. She left her child home alone while she traveled to Detroit and Puerto Rico. When Candelario returned, she found the child unresponsive in a playpen.
It stunned people across this world because it defies one of the basic human responsibilities. The bond between a mother and a child.
Candelario pleaded guilty to aggravated murder and endangering a child. A flight carrying more than 30 U.S. citizens took off from Haiti this weekend amid the ongoing gang violence in the country. The State Department says the government-chartered flight arrived in Miami safely yesterday.
It's a mixed emotion. It's good to be back here. I'm safe. I'm with family, but I also need to think about the people back home.
Now, of course, here's video of them arriving. This flight came after the State Department announced it would offer the charter flight for American citizens departing from the city of Cap-Haïtien on Saturday. Haiti's main airport in the capital city, Port-au-Prince, is closed due to the ongoing gang violence in the city. The UN's food agency now warns famine is imminent in northern Gaza. Nearly a third of the population of 2.3 million is experiencing the highest level of catastrophic hunger. That is roughly 300,000 people. UN officials accuse Israel of using starvation as a war tactic.
Because this famine is not a natural disaster. It's not a flood, it's not an earthquake. It's entirely man-made.
Famine could occur as soon as this month in northern Gaza and by July in central and southern areas. Israel argues it places no limits on the entry of aid. Meanwhile, Israeli forces launched another raid in the Gaza Strip's largest hospital. They claim Hamas militants regrouped there and fired at them from inside the Shifa hospital. Palestinian officials say tens of thousands of people have been sheltering there. A live look tonight over Miamisburg from our Eco Plumber Skycam. Let's send it over to Chief Meteorologist Natalie Walters.
Yeah, cold evening out there. We warm up a bit tomorrow, but it's also going to be a windy one tomorrow. We'll plan on sustained winds between 15 to 25 miles per hour coming from the southwest, which will help warm us up. But check out the afternoon. Wind gusts up to about 35, maybe up to 40 miles per hour tomorrow afternoon. So it's going to be a windy day. Even into our Wednesday time frame, we're continuing those windy conditions with some gusts up to 25, even up to 30 miles per hour. So it is going to be breezy over these next couple of days. And then temperature wise, it does get warmer than the 30s at least, but still fairly chilly, especially for Thursday with highs only in the mid 40s. Upper 40s return Friday and Saturday. But I do have some 60s, 160-degree temperature in our forecast. I'll talk about that with our 7-day coming up in just a bit.
A new state law prohibiting cities from banning vapes will soon go into effect. The unintended consequences that may come with the measure. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now. An Ohio law stopping cities from banning flavored vapes will soon go into effect, but there are some unintended consequences. The measure would also stop cities from enforcing laws prohibiting stores from selling tobacco to kids. James Pilcher tells us more.
Cincinnati's health department monitors tobacco stores like this one, even using undercover minors to license and even fine them. But under a new law going into effect next month, that will not be allowed. In January, the Ohio General Assembly overturned Governor Mike DeWine's veto of a bill blocking cities and other local jurisdictions from banning or regulating tobacco products. But that new law also stops local governments from enforcing any law or ordinance regarding tobacco, specifically when it comes to keeping minors from accessing tobacco. The state has relied on local jurisdictions such as Cincinnati to enforce their age restrictions. That includes a local program aimed at limiting access to those 21 and older, created in 2018. Since then, the city's seen a 37% drop in how easily teens say they can get tobacco products. Last year, the department cited 25 different businesses or didn't renew their licenses after undercover minors bought tobacco there. That's down significantly from 6 years ago, but that program won't be able to operate under the new law.
Unfortunately, we aren't going to be able to